Pretty cool weather IQ. Also, typically different players, like Nadal versus Federer, can be better on different kind of courts like clay versus grass. Really cool IQ from KJ. Thanks so much. Now, if you are playing tennis outside today, know that it is still going to be hot and humid, but really the big things you have to watch out for, not the heat, but the storm potential. We have the best chance to see storms across the Charlotte area about 2 p.m. to midnight. We want you to stay weather aware as these could cause some heavy rain, which may lead to localized flooding. We've seen a lot of rain over the past few weeks, and gusty winds, when the ground is already saturated, can oftentimes, at least slightly easier, topple over trees. So if you have any concerns in your yard, make sure you're watching them closely. Most areas dry out there this morning, although we did have some rain earlier, mainly north and west of Charlotte. One tiny little sprinkle there in Rowan County. As we zoom out, though, you can see nothing on the radar yet coming in from the west, but we are going to have more storm potential as we head throughout the day. So here's Futurecast by 2 o'clock. You can see a few storms developing up in the mountains and foothills, and then a few popping up just northwest of the Charlotte metro area around that time frame. So places like northern Mecklenburg County into Gaston County, northwestern York, all the way up toward Cabarrus as well as Rowan counties. But these are going to get much heavier and widespread as they push east and southeast of the Charlotte metro. Notice in just that few hour span how much heavier this rain starts to look. Again, heavy rain, localized flooding, gusty winds, and then we of course know frequent lightning, especially when the heat and humidity is a little higher. For tomorrow morning, though, we're looking mostly dry. I do think we could see some areas of patchy fog. This happens a lot when the ground is saturated and we have a lot of humidity overnight. So expect some patchy fog for Sunday morning. We will see some pop-up storms as well for Sunday afternoon, but these are going to be overall much less widespread than what we'll have today. Then as we approach Monday, we could actually see some of those outer bands from what right now is Tropical Depression 4 starting to make their way into the Charlotte area, but a lot of questions still remain about what TD4 will do, which we'll of course get to coming up. What you need to know temperature-wise this afternoon is temps will reach the lower 90s, but will feel like the upper 90s for the majority of the afternoon. So I'm not saying that this is not hot. We are just not going to be as hot as we have been. So yesterday we peaked at around 103 in the Charlotte area for the heat index, the day before 101. So just a few degrees lower for today. I'll still say, though, if you're going to be outside, make sure you're staying hydrated. All right, speaking of Tropical Depression 4, right now it is a tropical depression, but this storm will eventually get the name Debbie. It is the fourth storm of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. As of the latest update, it is right over the central and western part of Cuba, wind around 30 miles an hour, so it's not yet up to that 39-mile-per-hour wind speed, which would make it a tropical storm. Still trying to gain some organization as it's right now over land, but once it eventually emerges back into the Gulf of Mexico, is expected to become a tropical storm and a strong one, as some of those winds are indicated to get close to Category 1 hurricane strength. So it's not out of the question that TD4, eventually Debbie, could get that designation before making landfall in Florida. Again, still a little bit of mess to work out here. Now, if the first thing you're wondering is why Debbie 4 is expected to take this trek, well, right now we have high pressure over to the west over the state of Texas, and then we have a frontal boundary that's situated right here over the Carolinas. So storms, hurricanes, tropical storms, take the path of least resistance. So as the high pushes it this way, but the front blocks it from heading more inland towards Charlotte, that's why as of now it's expected to take this trek. But you notice as you got to day 5 how the cone was a little bit wider. It's because there's a little bit more uncertainty about whether or not this storm will actually linger for a few days, which could kind of jostle where some of the heaviest rain and the highest winds are going to be. As of right now, not expecting any tropical storm force winds here in the Charlotte area. You can see that risk is much higher near the immediate coast, where it's around 30 to 40% from Charleston up to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Now, coastal impacts mainly Monday, Tuesday, but we'll start to see some rain again on Monday as well. But if that storm were to linger for a few more days, we could see rain for additional days too. Latest rainfall forecast, again, around 1 to 3 for most areas east or west of Charlotte, that is. And if you're further south and east of Charlotte, maybe 2 to 4, maxing out near 5. But remember, this is over a 7-day period. So while this is a lot of rain and does increase our rain and cloud cover chances for most of next week, right now our impacts are very minor further inland compared to what they'll see near the immediate coast. Here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Again, 91 today. We're keeping you weather aware for storm potential. Only a few popping up from Sunday through the early part of this week. And then you can see more cloud cover keeps us mostly in the mid 80s. That, of course, we'll have to watch very closely for any forecast changes due to TD4, which will eventually become Debbie. There's a lot more information to talk about. We know the tropics can be a lot this time of year. I have an update that I'm updating every single hour over on our website and our WCNC Charlotte mobile app.